All right, right. Is it good? Check the cap. They said check the cap. Make sure that the cap is on properly. Because if the cap doesn't fit, oh, we got it on now. All right. Good evening, all. Welcome to the. I don't know what the fuck to call it really. Someone said. They said. I got a call the other day from. You probably can't even see me now. You see. Because I did a video there one day and I realised, too late, they couldn't even fucking see me. Someone said, well, you're an awful pillock. I said, I know. I've been called worse. I've been called worse than pillock. Tosser. I've been called tosser too. I put on that one. I don't like the light too light. I don't like the light too bright, me, because I prefer darkness. Someone said, what's that about? I don't fucking know. I came to the conclusion though, I think I'm on the camera now, I'm not too sure. I'll have to fucking have another look. Oh yeah, that should be good. I came to the conclusion that I like the darkness, because it's a fucking mystery. That's what I said. Because when I was a kid, I was afraid of the dark. I was afraid there was things under my bed. And there was, my shoes. But I was afraid there was something else, of a supernatural nature. And I could, even when I was in college, when I was like 19 or 20, I still had to have the light on. Because I was terrified of the dark. What was there? And when I got to about 30, well no, it was probably before that, probably about 29 and a half, I realised that there was nothing there except the fucking dark. So then I could turn the lights on. Now I like the dark. That's like another fucking mystery. So what am I doing tonight? What am I doing with putting on the television? I'm burning these things. They're like firelighters, but they're actually bits of carpet that you can light. They do the same thing as firelighters, except they're cheaper. Because you see the carpet, it came off the ground because I took it up. Because I was going to put down a wood floor. But I'm not going to do that. For reasons beyond my control. So someone says to me, they said, what's the story? Someone said they seen me on the telly. I was actually on the telly. I can't say exactly when, where and why, but I was on the fucking telly. So then I got a call the other day from someone who'd seen me on the telly. But it mightn't even have been the telly, it might have been one of those YouTube videos. Because I've got a few friends, they're pretty close friends. And they're a bit mad, but they might have put me on one of those YouTube videos. So I got a call the other day on the phone, on the mobile phone. And that's the only phone I can get a call on at the moment, because I don't have a house phone. Because there's no point, because I can make as many calls as I want. I've got free calls, and internet and text. I can text anyone. Anywhere in the world I can fucking text them. The only problem is I don't have any friends. So I got this call the other day, right? And I says to myself, hey up, there's something wrong here. And the reason I knew there was something wrong, because the only people that usually talk to me, the only people that usually call me, is my mother or the Samaritans. You know, those people that help people. Because what happened was, I was in the right state a few years. Well, I was in the right state a lot of years back. One thing or another. I can't go into that now. Because my doctor, she said it's confidential information. And if I was to tell everybody my confidential information, it wouldn't be fucking confidential anymore, would it? So, I got this call. And it wasn't from the Samaritans and it wasn't from my mother. So I said, who the fuck is this? I might be one of those people trying to find out, you know, one of those scammers, getting your bank account details and all that. Well, I said to myself, I'll have a right fucking laugh if it is. I could fucking wind them up for hours then. They often call me doing the scammer and wind up. Little, they don't really know. Little do they know that I won't be talking to anyone else apart from the Samaritans and my mother for months on end. And I fucking like. You know, if I get a cold call, as they call it, that's made my day. The longer they're on, the better. You know, I do tell them that I'm not well and that, like, whatever. My mind goes a little bit amiss sometimes. And that really gets them going, because they're thinking, all right, once we get his bank details, we're good to go. But little did they fucking know, I don't keep my money in the bank. Oh, no. Not after the great crisis of 2000 was it 2001 or 2002? No, fuck the bankers. Bankers. I was telling a mate of mine that he doesn't have a phone, that's why he doesn't call me. Well, he'd have a phone every now and then, but he keeps losing them. Anyway, I was telling Ten Pint Tony, that's me mate, Ten Pint Tony. The reason it's called Ten Pint Tony is because every night, he drinks 10 pints. And you won't believe the amount of people that say to him, 10 Pint Tony, you do yourself in drinking 10 pints. And he said, I'm having a good time. He said his uncle, he was telling us about his uncle, 20 shots Sydney. He used to drink 20 shots every day. Says he passed away a couple of months back. He was 92. And he said his last words were, what a fucking ball I had. That's what his last words were to Ten Pint Tony. So Ten Pint Tony says, I don't give a fuck. He says, people that fucking sit in all night thinking about this and that, and oh, we shouldn't do this and that. I'm fucking out there enjoying it. Whatever happens, happens. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, he was talking about the television. Yeah, I was telling him about these people on the cold call me trying to get me details and stuff. I said, oh, I can fucking get them go for hours. I think they put me on a kind of a bad list now, even though they have my number. Be very careful talking to this fucker, because he keep you on the line for hours. But yeah, I was telling Ten Pint Tony, then I got a phone call. He said, from who? Was it from your mother? I said, no. Was it from the Samaritans? I said, no. He said, who the fuck was it? I said, one of these fucking Hollywood producers had seen one of the videos on YouTube about me just, you know, chatting around and doing a bit of whatever, like lighting the fire. You see, we used to have a glass in this fire, but it cracked. But due to the fact that we're doing renovations at the moment, we're not going to bother our ass putting in glass. I was going to put a bit of steel in, but that'd be difficult because I'm not worth a fuck at things like that. So instead, I find it easy to put in a bit of tin foil. And the thing about the tin foil, it's madness, it's amazing, is that once that bit kind of gets, you know, the heat will kind of, it won't burn the hole through, but it'll wear it away. You know, like if you're listening to someone that's just like, well, someone that does your edit, if you listen to someone like that, they'll wear you away. But you can't really, you know, it's got nothing to do with tinfoil, except for the fact about whatever. And anyway, the good thing about the tinfoil is, when it does wear away, you can always go out and get another piece, because you can get a big roll now, up in Tesco's. Get a big, 20 metres for about one night of that. And I reckon 20 metres will keep that fire going for about a year without a window. People don't realise that, you see. Anyway, get back to the story. Ten Pint Tony says to me, he says, who called you on the fucking phone if it wasn't your mother or the Samaritans? I said, I'm coming to that, Tony. I said, get in a pint, 2 pints, which he did. I'll tell you, when he's getting pints, he gets to the bar 3 times quicker than when he's coming back. Because when he gets in the bar, he's like a greyhound. And then on the way back, he kind of meanders about sometimes. He'll be chatting to people. By the time he comes back, his pint will be empty. I'll be fucking gasping, waiting there. Anyway, we're getting to the phone call. Yeah. One of these Hollywood producers, he says to me, he says, hello. Is this, fuck me, I'm forgetting my name sometimes now. Sydney, that's it. Is this Sydney from the Sydney Pistolwhite Experience? I said, no. It's Sydney's cousin. He said, what's your name? I said, Sydney. He said, you have the same name as your cousin. I said, yeah. So he said, anyways, I seen you on the YouTube video. And he said, we're wondering, we'd like to make a TV show. I said, well, you can do whatever the fuck you want. That's what people do in Hollywood, isn't it? He said, no. I said, how did you get my number anyway? He said, I called Mr. Pistolwhite from the YouTube. I put a text in him, or tweeted him or something. I said, alright. He said, we want to do a TV show with you. I said, you're fucking joking, are you? I said, what the fuck will I do? He said, basically all you've got to do is what you do every day. What you did in that YouTube video when you were sitting down in the pub chatting to the lads and stuff. I said, but you can't have a TV show about that. He said, we can. He said, you'll have some special guests and stuff. I said, special guests? He said, yeah. I said, what are we talking about? He said, well, for the first show we've got lined up Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Rudolph Nureyev the second. I said, well, what's the point in that? I said. He said, what? I said, like, what's the point in having Sylvester Stallone on the same show as the other two fellas? He said, what? I says, well, they're both from Eastern Europe and Stallone is from America, and with Trump being in charge now, there could be fucking friction, could be hot points. He said, that's exactly why we need you on the show to direct things and make it into, like, you know, some kind of a broadcasting sensation, like fucking, what's his name? Calvin Klein. No, it wasn't Calvin, Seinfeld, that was it, Seinfeld. Or the other one, he said the other one, what was his name? Ali G. But I told him, I said, I know Ali G. He said, do you fuck? But he didn't say that. He said, you know? I said, I know. I was living in a squat in London back in the 80s. Oh, it was a wild place. You think the Wild West was wild when people were wild in the West in America back in the day? Well, back in a squat in Tufnell Park in London in the 80s, oh, some parties there. It was party central 24/7. Because all these people in the squats, they were all nutters. Complete nutters. I don't know how I ended up there, but I did. So when I'd be out like having a bit of a party in the pub and then nightclub and a bit of whatever dancing, I'd go back to the squats at around 3 or 4 in the morning. And we'd continue on until the dawn. That's where I met 10 Pint Tony, there too. Anyways, he says to me, yeah, we'd like you to do a TV show. I said, well, what's in it for me? Like, I mean, I'm not going to go over there and do it for nothing. I said, I've never been on a plane before anyway, for starters. He said, well, we'll negotiate. I said, give me the bottom line and take it from there. He said, 100 a month. I said, fuck off. I said, I'm already getting 200 a week on the job seekers. He said, what? I said, I'm already getting 200 plus the rent allowance, 250, and you get a fucking bonus for Christmas bonus, and then you get a fuel allowance. And I don't even have a car. Well, he said, no, 100 grand, he said. I said, what? He said, 100 grand a month, 25,000 an episode. I said, for fuck's sake, are you talking about dollars pesetas or potatoes or what? He said, no, dollars. I said, well, $25,000 is a lot more than 200 euros, isn't it? And he said, what? And I had to explain to him then that I wasn't very good at mathematics. Never was. Due to the fact that I didn't go to school. Well, not most of the time. I used to go in the odd time, you know, just to see how everybody was. But, oh, he said, yeah. I said, well, what do you want me to do? He said, well, we'll send someone over to pick you up. I said, what do you mean? He said, you're near Knock, aren't you? I said, it's just down the road. He said, we'll send over a private jet next week to pick you up at Knock Airport. And we'll fly you off to Hollywood. I said, all right, I said, fair enough, but the fishing season starts next week. Could you leave it for a couple of weeks, until, maybe till the end of the month, because I'd like to get a few casts in before, you know, at the beginning of the season. Well, he took a long gasp, and he said, 10 for that, he said, 10 for that. So I'm off to Hollywood in a couple of weeks, end of month. And we're going to do a TV show. Because people have been telling me, apart from the fucking they see me on the YouTube, back in the day, I went to college for a while. I don't know how I got in, but I got in. And I used to tell stories. I was called the tall tale storyteller, because I could tell stories for hours and hours. I could never remember what they were about, because usually I would have been under the influence of certain beverages. People say, ooh. Anyways, the fire is lighting.
Yes, a lot of people now. I remember discussing things in Sydney. I just returned from Timbuktu. I'd been over there. I've been chasing these Russian bastards for months, and I went back to London for a couple of weeks for a few days leave, because it had been quite a dangerous assignment. And I met Sydney at one of the squats one night. But speaking of Timbuktu, when I was there, Sydney was explaining, he was talking to me earlier about sometimes when you're surrounded by idiots, it can be quite painful, you know. And I said, tell me about it, Sydney, because when I did get to Timbuktu, it was in 1987. I think it was February the 14th, Valentine's Day. They didn't care about St. Valentine, because most of them were Muslims or whatever, and they don't appreciate Irish saints, especially who go by the name of Valentine. So anyway, I was there, and then I'd got my report and my assignment of what I had to do, and I had to find these two dangerous Russian bastards. But I was only 26 at the time, and it was my first time in Timbuktu. I'd never been there. In fact, I'd never been in Europe. I'd mostly worked over in the East, Russia and China. And I had been to Paris one time, but on that occasion I had been kidnapped by a gang of guerrillas. Not the monkeys, not the monkeys. And I'm talking about extremists, guerrillas, terrorists. And I got to Timbuktu, and I said, well, it wasn't that big of a place at the time. There was only about 5 million people living there. So I was 2 weeks walking around showing these pictures, and I could go to these coffee shops and everything. It was on the 40th day that I eventually spoke to someone that could speak English. And they said they'd never seen these Russian bastards. And I said, well, what's the story with all these other fuckers? I said, none of them have any English. He said, that's right. He says, that's why I'm here. I said, I don't like speaking to people, you know. And I said, well, you haven't seen these guys? He said, no. But it all got pretty complex, and eventually I found them, you know, after a big shootout in the Taj Mahal. It's been turned into a casino since. But after that I met Sydney, and in one of the squats we had quite a night of it. And I don't know why people keep asking me about it, but I would be very interested to see him on the television, because I mean, he's got a lot of tall tales. He was the master tall tale teller back in the day, I believe. So we're going to leave it for now, and then that will be it, and may the force be with you, ladies and gentlemen.